This brand new aircraft approaches the runway at Mulhouse-Hobsheim Airport in France. It's June 26, 1988, and this is supposed to be a simple demonstration flight, a crowd pleaser for the airshow spectators below. But in the next moments, the plane will fail to climb, crash into the forest at the end of the runway, and burst into flames.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
The Airbus A320 is revolutionary. Introduced in 1988, it's the first commercial airliner to use digital fly-by-wire flight controls. Instead of mechanical cables connecting the pilot's controls to the aircraft surfaces, the A320 uses computers. When pilots move the control stick, computers interpret their commands and move the aircraft accordingly. This system includes envelope protection, designed to prevent pilots from making dangerous maneuvers that could damage the aircraft or cause a crash. Air France Flight 296Q is not a regular commercial flight. It's a chartered demonstration flight for the Mulhouse-Hobsheim Airshow, a regional aviation event. The aircraft carries 130 passengers, mostly raffle winners, journalists, and invited guests to experience the new A320, plus 6 crew members, 3 pilots, and 3 flight attendants, for a total of 136 people on board. The flight plan is simple. Take off from Basel-Mulhouse Airport, fly to Mulhouse-Hobsheim Airport about 5 miles away, perform a low, slow flyover for the crowd, then return to Basel-Mulhouse. The captain is 44-year-old Michel Assouw, an Air France pilot with over 10,463 total flight hours, heavily involved in A320 testing and training. His co-pilot is Pierre Mazières, aged 45, with over 10,853 hours. Neither pilot has flown into Mulhouse-Hobsheim Airport before. The airport is small, with a short runway surrounded by forest. It's not equipped with standard navigation aids, but they were very confident in the experience and competent. This plane is so safe, you could put a monkey in the cockpit and it would fly itself. At around 2:41 p.m., Flight 296Q takes off from Basel-Mulhouse with 136 people on board. The flight to Hobsheim takes only a few minutes. The plan is to perform a low, slow flyover at 100 feet altitude, wings level, at the minimum safe speed with gear down and flaps extended. This type of display is meant to show the crowd how slowly and stably the A320 can fly. However, as the aircraft approached Mulhouse-Hobsheim Airfield, the crew noticed that the airshow spectators and crowd were gathered along the shorter grass runway, runway 34R, about 2,100 feet long. This change contributed to distractions, a destabilized descent. The shorter runway also had closer obstacles, including uncharted trees or forest beyond the end of the runway, not shown on the pilot's maps. As the aircraft approaches Hobsheim, Captain Assouw descends lower than planned. Instead of 100 feet, the plane reaches about 35 feet. The aircraft's speed is slow, configured for maximum drag, with auto thrust disconnected to demonstrate manual control. The flyover begins smoothly. Spectators on the ground watch as the sleek new airliner passes low over the runway. Video cameras record the moment from multiple angles. But as the aircraft reaches the end of the short runway, something goes wrong. Captain Assouw pushes the throttles forward to add power and climb away. It's the engines spool up, but with a delay from idle. The A320 begins sinking. Warnings activate in the cockpit, but the aircraft doesn't climb quickly enough. The plane is too low, too slow, and there isn't enough time or altitude for the engines to provide full thrust. The trees at the end of the runway appear directly ahead. Moments later, the A320 crashes into the forest. The aircraft's landing gear and lower fuselage strike trees, tearing off pieces of the plane. The impact slows the aircraft but doesn't stop it. The A320 continues forward, crashing through more trees until it finally comes to rest deep in the forest. The fuel tanks rupture. Seconds later, fire erupts. Inside the cabin, passengers are thrown forward by the impact. The lights go out. Smoke fills the air. The 3 flight attendants immediately begin evacuation procedures. But there's a problem. Fire and debris block some exits. Passengers must evacuate through the front doors and over-wing exits. Panic erupts as passengers rush toward the exits. The smoke is thick and toxic. People are coughing, unable to see. Flight attendants shout instructions, guiding passengers toward the usable exits. Emergency slides deploy, and passengers begin sliding out of the aircraft. But the fire is spreading rapidly through the cabin. Most passengers escape quickly. They run from the burning aircraft into the forest, helping each other navigate through the trees. Spectators from the air show rush to help, guiding survivors away from the wreckage. But 3 passengers cannot escape in time. An 8-year-old disabled boy, Hervé Learman, unable to move, a 7-year-old girl, Mariama Berry, trapped by her collapsed seat and seatbelt, and a 34-year-old woman who ran back and tried to help the girl. All 3 die from smoke inhalation. The crash occurs in front of hundreds of witnesses. Multiple cameras capture the entire event. The video footage is damning. It clearly shows the aircraft flying dangerously low and slow, then failing to climb sufficiently when the pilot adds power. The question becomes, why did the aircraft fail to recover? Captain Assouw immediately blames the aircraft. He claims the engines didn't respond promptly and that the fly-by-wire system limited his inputs. He argues that the A320 systems contributed significantly. He insists this involves design issues, not solely pilot error. Airbus and Air France begin their investigation immediately. They recover the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder from the wreckage. The recorders are read out promptly, with the CVR transcribed that night and clarified with pilot assistance. However, controversy arises over interpretations of the data and claims by Assouw's supporters of possible tampering, though official findings reject these. The French Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis for Civil Aviation Safety, BEA, conducts the official investigation. They conclude that the crash was caused by pilot error. According to their findings, Captain Assouw flew too low and too slow, placing the aircraft in a dangerous situation. The investigation finds that the A320's fly-by-wire system worked correctly. Alpha protection engaged normally to prevent a stall. But because the aircraft was already too low and autothrust was disconnected, there was insufficient time for engine spool-up. The engines take several seconds to reach full power from idle, and the aircraft ran out of altitude. Captain Assouw is charged with involuntary manslaughter. His trial becomes a spectacle. He maintains his innocence, arguing that the aircraft's design contributed. His lawyers present alternative theories about system behavior. They question data interpretations and suggest possible issues. The prosecution argues that Assouw violated basic aviation safety rules. He flew lower than planned without properly assessing the risks. The crew had limited familiarity with this specific maneuver at this unfamiliar airfield. He put 136 people at risk for a crowd-pleasing display. On appeal, Captain Assouw is found guilty of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 months in prison, followed by 10 months of probation. He served time. His co-pilot received a suspended sentence. Claims of recorder tampering or issues persist among critics, though the official report states the recorders were recovered and analyzed intact. No concrete evidence of deliberate destruction has been proven. What is certain is that the crash led to changes in aviation procedures. Air show demonstrations are now subject to stricter rules. Pilots must have extensive experience before performing public displays with passengers. No passengers are allowed on demonstration flights. Fly-by-wire systems and procedures have evolved. Flight data recorders receive better protection. The families of the 3 victims received compensation, though no amount of money could replace their loved ones. Captain Assouw never flew commercially again. He spent years fighting to clear his name, giving interviews and writing about the crash. He maintained that he was made a scapegoat for potential design issues. If for nothing, this tragedy is the reason people are no longer allowed to be on a demonstration flight anymore.